counting down the minutes to the first pitch of today's game.
Yes!
Who's in the starting lineup?
Come on, son. You got to get out there and take the mound. It's game time.
What does the skipper have to say?
It's an attitude. You got to be willing to defend. You got to be willing to base run, or you can't play here.
It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wortz on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Welcome into the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you, getting you caught up on all things Brewers Cubs ahead of game number 4 of the series. It'll be Jacob Misiorowski going for Milwaukee, heading up against former Brewer Colin Ray. First pitch scheduled for 7:05 today from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Game number 127 on the year. Brewers look to bounce back after dropping both in the doubleheader yesterday. Let's get to the lineups, why don't we?
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Thanks again to Lakeland University for being a part of the starting lineups. Experience it your way, lakeland.edu. First up for the Chicago Cubs, Michael Busch will lead things off. He is the first baseman. Ian Happ in left field will bat second. Seiya Suzuki, the DH, will bat third. Pete Crow Armstrong in center field in the cleanup spot. Carson Kelly is the catcher and will bat fifth. Nico Horner, the second baseman, will bat sixth. Owen Casey in right field bats seventh today. Dansby Swanson, the shortstop, will bat eighth. Matt Shaw at third base bats ninth. Now for the Milwaukee Brewers, Sal Frelick in right field will lead things off. Isaac Collins in left field to bat second. William Contreras, the catcher, will bat third. Christian Yelich, the DH, bats fourth today. Andrew Vaughn at first base will bat fifth. Anthony Siegler at third base will bat sixth. Bryce Terang at second base bats seventh. Blake Perkins in center field to bat eighth. Rounding things out, still in the lineup, the shortstop, Joey Ortiz. Another news and note real quick before we get into the rest of the program here. Carlos Rodriguez recalled from AAA Nashville. Tobias Myers optioned to AAA Nashville. Chad Patrick was returned to Nashville after serving as the 27th man in yesterday's doubleheader. Of course, he pitched in game 1 yesterday. Joey Ortiz got a little banged up in game 2. Doesn't matter. He's back in the lineup today. The Brewers rocking with what they have been for most of the month of August now, with Anthony Siegler inserting himself back in for Caleb Durbin after the last couple of days. The games yesterday, not great from Milwaukee. It was kind of an underwhelming day for Milwaukee Brewers fans to watch them play against the Chicago Cubs. That stupid rain delay, man. The rain out really messed everything up. All the mojo they had in game 1, well, then games 2 and 3 didn't go as well for the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers have lost consecutive games for the first time since dropping the first 2 games of the Miami series back on July 25th and 26th. Milwaukee has now lost 3 straight games since May 7th through 10th. That was when they lost 1 game to Houston and 2 games to Tampa, playing at the Steinbrenner Field in Florida at the minor league stadium. Despite falling in both games of yesterday's doubleheader, Milwaukee still rocking with a pretty good record. They're 18-4 over their last 22 games. However, every time they lose, there's some movement in the standings. The Cubs now just 7 games back of Milwaukee, 79-47 this year for the Brewers. The Cubs sit at 72-54. The Brewers still have the best road record in all of baseball, 37-27, and they still have the best home record in all of baseball, 42-20. Now it's Jacob Misiorowski's turn to try to get things back in the right win column for Milwaukee. He has been on fire. Of course, everyone knows Misiorowski by now. If you're a Brewers fan, even if you're a national baseball fan, it'll be his job today to try to get Milwaukee back on track. We always go over the game before on the show. Let's do it right here on the Rewind.
Did you miss the last game? Did you miss what was said after the last game? It's time to rewind. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Brewers yesterday in game 2 of the doubleheader were rocking with Brandon Woodruff as he was going up against Jameson Taillon of the Chicago Cubs. And it started off all right for Milwaukee as they would get on the board first. That was courtesy of an Andrew Vaughn single that would bring in the first run of the game.
And Vaughn rings one to center field, a base hit. Contreras around third, he'll score. Yelich has to scamper back to second. Andrew Vaughn delivers a 2-strike, 2-out RBI.
Usually I say highlights, all courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network here. It's just highlight, really. There was not much going for Milwaukee. They did have 7 hits in the contest, and they did hit a lot of hard baseball contact balls in play yesterday, but they couldn't get anything going. They didn't have a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position. The Brewers, one of the best in baseball when they do that. Brandon Woodruff found himself in some trouble with a pitch count situation yesterday. Woody's been very efficient all season long, and yesterday he found himself with 94 pitches and pulled after 4 1/3. The Cubs would get runs to come across in the second inning. That was courtesy of an Owen Casey single, which he is having a hell of a series against the Brewers, and a Michael Busch double. It was 2-1 after 2. The Brewers would never even get to 2. They would lose the final score of 4-1 yesterday, dropping both games of the doubleheader yesterday to Chicago. I would like to say something too. Stop saying they were swept yesterday. I just think that's totally, that makes no sense. Like, the series still going on. The Brewers lose both games for sure. Sweep means you haven't won a game in the series. The Brewers won the first game of the series, and there's still 2 more to be played now to this point. So I don't understand the logic of saying swept. Jameson Taillon gets the victory, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, just 4 strikeouts in the game. He's 8-6 now on the year. Brandon Woodruff would get his first loss of 2025, 4-1 now after 4 1/3, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks as well for Woody. I think going into the game, he just had 8. So, I mean, really a large portion now. You're looking at just under 30%, about over a quarter of his walks on the year now. We're in that game yesterday. Andrew Kittredge picks up the save for Chicago, now improving to 72-54 as Milwaukee 79-47. After the game was over, Pat Murphy would speak to the media. Here is Pat Murphy after the Brewers fall 4-1 to the Chicago Cubs yesterday.
He had a couple things go against him. We didn't catch the ball on caught stealing. We had a blooper fall in, down the left field line. We had a ball hit right on the line, down the right field line. So he had to battle, and he pitched great, but he just didn't have things go his way. Couple 3-2 pitches close, and ended up walking a couple guys. So it's not a typical outing, and he didn't have, a perfect outing. But I think he this environment and he getting into it like this, I thought he showed signs of, I'm a big time pitcher, like I was. You know what I mean? So that was encouraging. I'm really happy for him. Got his pitch count up there and wanted to stay out there.
You guys put some early pressure on Taillon too, especially in the first 2 innings. What did you think he did to kind of settle in and be more effective after that?
Yeah, he got us in swing mode. He didn't walk anybody, and he got us in swing mode. He's a pitcher, and he's a great competitor and an experienced pitcher. That's why they paid him the money they did. And he took advantage of us and being in swing mode. We didn't really leave the zone. I mean, we hit 12 balls close to 100 miles an hour, but didn't have that much to show for it. But he did a great job keeping the ball in the park. He did a great job damage control. So he deserves a lot of credit.
Do you have any update on Joey?
Joey had an X-ray. It's negative. It's off his knee. He's got a contusion, bone bruise. Yeah, so he's dealing with some gastrointestinal stuff too. So he's not going to play tomorrow, I don't think. So the bone bruise is pretty painful. So we'll manage that if we can.
I guess more optimistic now. What about the job that Ashby did for you today? Just
Great.
Keeping the game and the bullpen.
Fantastic. Ashby was great. Especially when things didn't go his way either. He gave up a triple off the wall. It's a double that just keeps rolling because it hits off a brick wall like that. So it's just kind of unfortunate. And that leads to a run. And ball was out of Terang's reach a little bit. The throw, getting thrown out of the plate, bang, bang. The play at third. Our replay people still say he was out. They said no. Yeah, whatever. So things didn't go our way. The in-between play, the ball on the line went against us and for them. The hard contacts got caught. And you got to credit them. They played inspired and, they put themselves in this position. So I thought we did some good things. There's guys with 3 and 4. Vaughn hit the ball hard 3 times. Collins hit the ball hard twice, got nothing. Terang hit the ball hard twice. Joey Ortiz lined out at 108 miles an hour. Terang made it out at 110. Those things add up a little bit.
That play to throw out Terang, we've seen your team come back in those spots so many times in the last couple of weeks. Did you have that being a close play? That was a heck of a throw.
It was a great throw. Credit Castro. That was an infielder playing outfield and went out there and made an incredible play. Got behind the ball the way you're supposed to. Got behind it and threw a strike. And we got our best runner, or one of our best runners running, and it was bang bang. Credit to the Cubs how they played all day today.
Murph, you guys haven't lost back-to-back games since July. It probably feels a little unfamiliar for your group right now and for you guys. What do you want to see from them tomorrow to flush it and bounce back?
Obviously, they know they're disappointed that they didn't come out on top, but they also know that they're going to keep fighting. That's how they play. Injuries, adversity, all the stuff we faced all year. This is bound to happen. It's bound to happen, and it's how you bounce back from how you respond, and whether or not it turns out into immediate response, whatever. But I believe in this group. So the group's a good group, and we don't like losing. And we didn't play poorly, but we didn't do the things we normally do. We didn't take free bases. We didn't get that 50-50 play, the play that could go either way. It didn't go our way today. But credit the Cubs for that. We've won a lot of games that way where the other team was hitting the balls hard and we were catching it. So, we won a game the other night here with not hitting the ball in the infield, walking a couple times. Yeah, you got to live with it. You got to deal with it.
There is the manager, Pat Murphy, speaking to the media after the game. That audio courtesy Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on Twitter. It is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you, getting you caught up. All things Brewers Cubs ahead of tonight's first pitch. 7:05, Jacob Mizorowski going up against Colin Ray. Drew Wagner will join the program at about 6:40 today. We'll talk to Luis Olmos over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook as well. Coming up in about 5 minutes or so here, pick his brain on some of the best bets if you want to get any action today on Brewers Cubs ahead of game number 4 of the series. As you know, Milwaukee, the doubleheader yesterday, now in game 4. You will play them tomorrow again for a midday game starting at 1:20, and it'll be a 5-game series with the Chicago Cubs. Yesterday, I don't feel that you should be so discouraged that the Brewers lose both games. In game 1, Chad Patrick was pretty rocky, I thought. And he even admitted it after the game that he kind of forgot how to pitch in a big league game. And you got to go to Wrigley Field. That's always going to be a ruckus environment when you're talking about MLB stadiums right now. And he was erratic from the beginning. Brandon Woodruff it affected him a little bit too. You could tell he was not as his same sharp self he's been all season long. Now, I don't think that was really sustainable. If this turns out to be a bad Brandon Woodruff start where he gives up 3 runs and 4 1/3, well, they have guys like Aaron Ashby who go 3 2/3, 4 hits allowed, just 1 run as well. And he talked about that triple. That ball just bounced off the left field wall and kept rolling towards third base. And I think that with Christian Yelich in left field, the play was closer. It probably could have got the guy with almost anyone else playing. And that's no sly on Christian Yelich. He's very important to this club, but he's not really the best outfielder on the team. And it's because there are so many other much more talented outfielders on this team. Christian Yelich is a former Gold Glover. Former, keyword there, though. When this team is starting to ramp up now and you're starting to see a couple guys come back, Jackson Churio returns on a rehab assignment in Nashville starting on Friday this week, 22nd. He'll be with AAA Nashville. Rhys Hoskins already in the works coming back. When this lineup gets finalized, and assuming everyone stays healthy throughout the season, Christian Yelich, I don't think he's going to play the outfield. I don't. What that probably means is that Rhys Hoskins, I don't think he plays much. You can't take Andrew Vaughn out of the lineup right now. Vaughn has been the best player for the Brewers since July 7th, since he's been called up. I don't think there's any doubt in that. He's been phenomenal with runners in scoring position, something the Brewers have been very good as a team with. But I don't think you can take Christian Yelich or Andrew Vaughn out of the lineup. And Rhys Hoskins going to turn into, at best, a platoon and probably more likely a pinch hitter. This is what the outfield would look like, right? If everyone is perfectly healthy for Milwaukee and it's game 1 of a playoff series, this is how the team probably looks around the horn, right? You got Contreras as your catcher, Vaughn at first base, Turang at second base, Joey at shortstop, third base. I guess that's a platoon, so we'll say it's Caleb Durbin or Anthony Siegler. I would probably lean just letting Caleb Durbin get as many reps as possible. And then the outfield, probably some configuration of right field being Frelick, center field is going to be Churio, and left field is going to be Collins. You can't take Isaac Collins' bat out of the lineup. And then that leaves the DH as Christian Yelich. I don't see how Rhys Hoskins plays. I do not. In a win now game, must win, very important. He's a bench bat, and he's a very good bench bat at that. The bench for Milwaukee will be formed out pretty well in that sense. They're going to have Rhys Hoskins and Blake Perkins on the bench. That's what it sounds like, right? I don't know how many outfielders can you carry because the Brewers have a luxury of those too. Brandon Lockridge hasn't been too shabby since he's been on with Milwaukee. I just don't see how else it lines up. I don't think that Rhys Hoskins is going to be a part of this team starting, at least. I could be wrong. And if they want to try it with Hoskins or Vaughn, whoever they would like to be the designated hitter, well, then you got to probably take Isaac Collins out. And I think that's a pretty foolish thing to do right now, as he's been one of the best players since June in all of baseball. It'll be interesting to see how Pat Murphy will configure the lineup down the road. I wouldn't freak out about the last 2 games. Would not. Sure, 1 run is kind of frustrating. And when the Brewers score 4, they're usually pretty good in game 1. 65-11 when they score 4 runs in a game. So I'm not worried. 6 out of every 7 times they're going to win if they score 4. Let's just pump the brakes. No one freak out about the season right now. Should be all good coming up shortly. Coming up, we will have Luis Olmos at the Potawatomi Sportsbook joining us here to get some of the best bets ahead at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am excited to talk to Luis because we did not get to talk to him for the nightcap yesterday. And we will have Drew Wagner join us in about 20 minutes or so here from Forbes Sports. He is down at Wrigley Field covering the game live. It's the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
See you later.
Let's get the latest on today's odds for the game. What's the best way to go? Let's check in with our expert from the Potawatomi Sportsbook to find out. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Before we get over to Luis Olmos at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, let me run down Milwaukee's lineup again in case you missed it earlier in the show. Sal Frelick to lead things off. He's in right field. Isaac Collins in left field will bat second. William Contreras, the catcher, will bat third. Christian Yelich, the DH, bats fourth. Andrew Vaughn at first base will bat fifth. Anthony Siegler at third base will bat sixth. Bryce Terang playing second will bat seventh. Blake Perkins will bat eighth, play center field. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He will bat ninth. He is the shortstop tonight. Joining us now, as he has all week, will continue to for this week, the senior media manager over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Fan Gas Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. It is Luis Olmos joining us here. Luis, how we doing on a Wednesday, my friend?
You know, I'm doing well, Tommy. I'd be doing a lot better if maybe we split that doubleheader last night.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a new day today, right? We have the Phenom, the Miz on the mound. So let's start a new streak today. I don't like a 2-game losing streak, so let's end that tonight and let's get back to 8-game leading the division.
Yeah, Luis, you got to go all the way back to May when the Brewers lost 3 in a row. So it's been quite some time. We've been a little spoiled, it feels like, as fans. This is just baseball right now. I'm not too worried about it. A lot of unlucky hits, it felt like yesterday for Milwaukee, or lack of hits, if you will. Have you been keeping up with our good pal Austin Herdina on vacation here? Like, how do you get hooked up on a cruise to Jamaica now, Luis?
You know what? I have to have that Austin Herdina salary to get on that cruise. I am in charge of 2 kids. And, you know, making sure that we're still doing these hits with you every day.
Yeah.
And hopefully giving out some winners to the people.
That's the plan, to give out some winners to the people. Luis Olmos over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook joining us here on the Leadoff Show. Now looking ahead at the betting odds today, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers today, slight favorites, minus 118 on the money line. 1.5 minus 1.5 will get you plus 155 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And the over-under set at 6.5 this game. Luis, what are you looking at over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to get a nice little parlay for the people going today?
Yeah, that tone in your voice told me that we both like that over 6.5. So I'm taking that over 6.5. I'm taking a guy that I feel is just getting hits, and he's getting doubles a ton. Sal Frelick over 1.5 hits. Total bases. And then Bryce Terang over half a hit. Bryce Terang's been barreling the ball so well the past 2 weeks that I just feel like a hit. Again, him and Sal, I feel like they get such hard contact on the ball that it's tough not to take them, right?
Absolutely. And yesterday when Sal Frelick legged out that infield single on the grounder to first base, that just fired me up. Like, that was so Brewers baseball. 2 outs in the second inning, and he's already diving at first base to try to beat it out. I love that play in general. Over 6.5, Bryce Terang over a half a hit, Sal Frelick over 1.5 total bases. That'll pay plus 390, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook today. And I like the over, Luis, not just because the number is so low, but we've seen that, Jacob Mizorowski got kind of roughed up his last time out. And sometimes he always has that inning, right, where it gets a little scary after, the first 11 innings of his career went so swimmingly. Now he's kind of, getting acclimated to the big leagues. People, they've seen 100, enough times before where if you throw it straight enough, they might do some damage with it. So, and I told Austin last time it was at 6.5, we have to take the over because every time it feels like that over hits on 6.5.
Yeah, and what worries me about the Miz too, I was looking at some of these total strikeout totals. It's like, look, he could easily go 2 innings and get 6 strikeouts, but he could only go 2 innings, maybe 3. They're really limiting that pitch count. So for me to touch that strikeout number with Miz worried me a little bit, where I'm just like, I'm going to stay away from that. Let's go with the batters, which I think, these guys are, they're unfazed right now. So I think they're going to come out kind of clean slate. I'm sure Cub fans think, oh, we're right back in this and everything. But to the Brewers, it's look, It's another day. Let's win today, and then tomorrow hopefully take the season series.
Luis Olmos, Senior Media Manager over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, joining us here on the leadoff show. One more time, his parlay for the people, over 6.5 runs. Bryce Turang over a hit. Sal Frelick over 1.5 total bases. That'll pay plus 390 over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Luis, how was breakfast this morning? Senior breakfast, right? You were hyping it up yesterday. And what else is going on over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook people need to know about?
Buffet never, it always hits, right? They love it. Right now is tomorrow when you wake up, you're able to start making your reservations for NCAA football week 1, NFL week 1. So set that alarm, make those reservations. If you want to reserve your table, for that first slate of college football or that first Packer game or that first afternoon slate of NFL, they go on sale tomorrow. So go to potawatomi.com/sportsbook into the reservations tab, and you're going to be able to take care of that right away. Those tables fill up fast, especially for Packer games.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's an F&B minimum, but you get the money right back to spend in food and drink. Get yourself a nice John Kuhn platter for $30 to split with your table. It's an unreal deal. It's probably one of the best deals in the city when you think about just sheer amount of food that you're getting in that John Kuhn platter.
Yeah, or get one for yourself and take some home if you want to as well. That's my plan usually. It should be an awesome I love that you guys are doing this with the shuttles as well. They're going to start back up on Friday, I believe, right, Luis, for the home series coming back to Milwaukee. How do people get on the shuttle if they want to do that at the Potawatomi Sportsbook?
Yep, come on down to the Sportsbook. Any same-day sports bet or food and beverage purchase is going to get you a wristband. We're going to get you to and from the game. And then on the way back, we're going to give you some reward play as well so that you can be lucky at the ballpark and then lucky here at the casino as well.
Should be an awesome weekend as the Brewers have to finish things up with the Cubs during that stretch. And then I believe it's the Giants after that. Luis, thank you so much for jumping on today. Have a great rest of your night. And, of course, go Brewers.
Go Brewers. Thanks so much.
There he is, Luis Olmos over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law Office's One Call. That's all.
Line drive, base hit, down the left field line.
Let's see what the skipper has to say heading into today's game. Let's head to the Coach's Corner. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan.
We are so lucky to have a guy like Drew Wagner working with us here at the Fan to send us over some pregame audio from the manager, Pat Murphy. Want to play that for you guys before we get into our Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8. Here's a little bit from the manager, Pat Murphy, earlier today from Wrigley Field.
Become a common theme on this club that it's really Sal and Turang and Joey, that whatever that is, sophomore class, whatever they are, sophomores, it's kind of the sophomore mantra, you just play, we're playing no matter what. So you can't, the poor trainers have no chance with those guys because they're just like, I'm good. Sour, and Durbin's in there too, even though he's a freshman. Just you can't get anything out of them. So
That's
better play good.
Was Joey adamant about playing today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was adamant about staying in the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
I talked it over with Horner, and Horner thought he should come out. So took him out.
Heard you have a different conversation.
I had some different conversations with Bush and Horner. Seemed like nice men.
I mean, all joking aside, you want to see that from your players, right? Of that kind of toughness.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where you're still going to be able to go perform, play good. We don't need you at half strength.
That's hard, right? I mean, that's one of the hardest part about managing.
It is hard. It is. It is to try to cut that balance, and Joey could use an off day at some point here. So, yeah.
We haven't really talked about that with we've spent so much time talking about the pitching staff and this long 19-game stretch, but how are you going to try to do that with your position group?
Yeah, I got a system here. You see this system? Mm-hmm. It isn't so neat, but there it is. Mm-hmm. My system. Seeing who gets a day off. Really got one on the 17th. Collins got one on the 18th. Perkins on the 19th. And we'll just keep going. Try to keep everybody as fresh as possible. But as Willie Adamas and would say, I'm not taking a day off. You know, I love that about players want to think about it that way. But sometimes if you're a freshman or sophomore, it's a little tougher to do that mentally and physically.
Or your catcher.
He's a pit bull. He's not a freshman or sophomore. He's enrolled at his own school.
Charter school.
It's a charter school.
I was going to say homeschool.
That's really good. No, you're right. I could say he's homeschooled. Oh God, the holes that I dig. Intern, you're learning this. Hopefully, you're learning about.
We're speaking of your position players all year long. When we talk about the pitching, we talk about the great job the pitching coach has done. It seems like every time there's a lull in the offense, the fans start clamoring, fire the hitting coach. We never credit them though when things are going.
Are
good.
the fans clamoring that right now?
Not right now, but that's usually what happens when a team isn't hitting.
Oh, okay.
But hitting coaches don't seem to get a lot of credit when your team is hitting, especially the way that it is lately. Just what kind of job have those guys done?
Credit is not something we're looking for. You know, like people aren't looking for credit. You're looking for credibility. You know, which is a big difference. You know, like you're not looking for credits and attention on as coaches, but you're looking for credibility and that players believe in you. I think we have that. So that's what's important.
I don't know that you had questions about how it would work with the three, but how has it worked with the three from your point of view?
Every year is going to be different. You know, there's not a template in baseball how to win, how to manage your staff, how to, you know, emphasize the bullpen, how to manage the bullpen. There's no template. No, everybody you talk to can tell you that there's different ways to slice it, and it depends. What I like to try to keep in mind, and I've mentioned it, and I know I'm a broken record. If you guys are tired of hearing me talk, I'm tired of hearing me talk. So let's put that out there. I'm exhausted of hearing myself, seeing myself and hearing myself. I'm exhausted of it. Anyway, it's always the pitching affects the hitting, affects the defense, affects the bullpen, affects the staff, it's all intertwined, and it's always stirring the soup. You know what I mean?
The key to building a winner in baseball is a strong minor league system. Who are the names we should know? How did they play in their last game? It's time for Building a Winner. Ironworkers Local 8 brings you Building a Winner. Skip the debt. Learn a trade. Apply now at iwl8.org. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan.
Yes, time for another Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8. Thanks again to Ironworkers Local 8 for being a part of the leadoff show all season long. That sound we just heard from Pat Murphy in pregame was courtesy of Drew Wagner. He'll join us here in about 5 minutes or so once we wrap things up with our Building a Winner feature. We got to start with AAA, of course.
Nashville Sounds.
Nashville yesterday won 7-3 over the Louisville Bats. Couple of big headlines for this one. Reynel Delgado kind of steals the show as he hit for the cycle and drove in 5 runs yesterday during Nashville's 7-3 victory over Louisville. Delgado recorded a hit in each of his first 4 at-bats, completing the cycle in reverse order, funny enough. He hit a home run, a triple, a double, and a single. His 2-run homer in the second inning opened the scoring in the game. His 3-run bases clearing triple in the third extended the Sounds lead to 6-0. According to the Sounds, the first player to hit for the cycle since Caleb Gindel. You remember how great he turned out to be. Caleb Gindel on July 10th, 2011, 4th player in franchise history to achieve the feat. Jake Bowers drew a walk during the 4th inning of his rehab assignment. Reese Hoskins made the first appearance on his rehab assignment as well. He had a walk, scored a run, played 7 innings at first base as well. And Robert Gasser made his 7th start of his rehab assignment through 52 pitches, 4 scoreless innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts during Nashville's 7-3 victory over the Louisville Bats.
Biloxi Shuckers.
Biloxi yesterday lost 7-3 to Chattanooga, the Lookouts. Cooper Pratt, however, stays hot. He's 2 for 5, an RBI, a stolen base. He has had a fantastic week and change right now. I think he homered 3 times last week for Cooper Pratt, and he's staying hot now with a 2 for 5 performance as well. Matthew Wood, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Today, pitching, it'll be Casey Hunt for the Biloxi Shuckers. Tate Keener is going to be on the bump for Nashville.
Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
Timber Rattlers fell yesterday 5-0 to the Beloit Sky Carp. In the game, Andrew Fisher 1 for 4. Nothing really too exciting from the top prospects. That lineup yesterday, the top 5, it was in some configuration of Mate, Pena, Fisher, Dingus, Adam Chesky. I think it was Adam Chesky 4th, then Dingus 5. But amazing lineup they got going on. And it's in Beloit. I mean, it's just up the road over here. If you want to go watch them play, it's actually probably closer wherever you are. If you're listening in the Milwaukee area towards Beloit, than it might be to Appleton. So make the trip. It's worth it right now.
Carolina Mudcats.
Carolina wins 3-0 yesterday over the Salem Red Sox. Bet you can't guess what affiliate they are with. And I told you to watch out for Melvin Hernandez. He has been on fire, 19-year-old, 7 innings yesterday, allowed just 1 hit over those 7 innings in the 3-0 victory. 21 games now, 15 starts in 2025 for Hernandez. He has allowed more than 3 earned runs just once, has a 2.13 ERA. That is 110 innings of work with just 26 earned runs on the season. He has the best ERA and the best whip in the organization's affiliated ball now. He is the best marks by a pitcher in the Brewers organization with over 110 innings pitched. He's a stud right now. He's absolutely been killing it. Dominican Summer League yesterday, a victory for the gold team. They win 13-3 over the Orioles black team. We have a victory or a loss for the blue team as they fell to the Pirates gold team. Blue team now 29-25-1 on the year, while the gold team sitting at 27-29. This Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8, building Milwaukee's future one beam at a time. Coming up, we're going to talk to Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports, pick his brain. He is in Wrigley. He's in Chicago right now, chopping it up with all of our favorite Brewers reporters that we talk to all the time. None of them as awesome as Mr. Drew Wagner. He will join the program next. It's the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 up in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Inside the Clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball. Join their fall mini camps at focusbaseball.com.
Welcome back to the Leadoff Show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Before we get to Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports, let me run down Milwaukee's lineup again in case you missed it earlier in the show. Leading things off in right field, it'll be Sal Frelick. Isaac Collins in left field will bat second. William Contreras, the catcher, will bat third. Christian Yelich, the DH, bats fourth. Andrew Vaughn at first base bats fifth. Anthony Siegler at third base will bat sixth. Bryce Terang at second base bats seventh. Blake Perkins in center field bats eighth. Rounding things out, the shortstop batting ninth, Joey Ortiz. Joining the show now, as he does each and every day, you can follow his work at Forbes Sports. Follow him on Twitter at @AndrewWagner. It is Drew Wagner joining us here on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Drew, how has Wrigleyville been treating you today, my friend?
I'm laughing right now because I'm standing outside of Wrigley. I went to meet a friend of mine before the game. It's at the game today. And there's a group of 6 senior citizens standing about 50 feet from me, just passing around an herbal refreshment. And it's the highest of high comedy. It's the highest of high comedy.
That's what you have to look forward to, Drew. All right. I mean, we're going to be there together. I hope one day that we will be passing around a beverage together outside of Wrigleyville one day.
Yeah, these old timers they're hitting it hard. Good on them.
Good on them.
Keep away the glaucoma.
Right.
Keep away the glaucoma.
No, that's what we're all trying to do. Drew Wagner joining us here on the Leadoff Show. Drew, real quick notes about yesterday. Obviously, underwhelming results, but it really feels like we've seen the Brewers lose in much worse fashion than those games yesterday. Ultimately, they didn't come up with the big hits. Yesterday, Woodruff gets a little bit shaken up. The pitch count got a little out of control, but the Brewers had a lot of hard hit balls. They got 7 hits. They just didn't come up with the big one, and ultimately they lose 2 games yesterday. Your reactions to the Brewers falling in the doubleheader yesterday?
It's funny because every time the Brewers win, you hear about how it's unethical because they're not hitting balls hard and they're not barreling balls and this and that. And yesterday they go out and they're crushing balls, hitting them 108, 110, 111, and they're hitting them right at people and lose. So people complain when they win and don't have hard hit balls. They complain when they have hard hit balls and they lose. It's almost like baseball's unpredictable.
Yeah, it was just like a lot of luck is going Milwaukee's way. We've said that along this stretch too during, even the last 22 games, right? They're 18-4. It's been some luck along the way, and they've had a lot of good breaks. And one day it just fell away from Milwaukee. It still feels like they're way ahead of the game on that. Drew, I heard you ask kind of the question we talked about yesterday in pregame today about the hitting coach situation and really the credit. Where is the credit? And then Murphy had a line of, they're looking for credibility and not credit. Now, I didn't mean to get you in trouble with Pat Murphy asking that question, but what did you think of that answer from Mr. Murphy talking about crediting hitting coaches during this stretch for the Brewers?
I thought it would have been a good answer. It really didn't answer my question.
Yeah,
that was the issue with it. Listen, I think those guys have been doing a terrific job, and I think it's worth recognizing the fact they're doing a terrific job. Yesterday's results notwithstanding, the Brewers have been hitting the ball very well. They've been ball strike recognition has been very good. They are doing all the things that you're supposed to do. Murph kind of shied away from the term, but it is their fundamentals are strong, and that's what's carrying them right now.
Yeah, Drew, I was just looking at some of the stats they were throwing up during the pregame show. They're first in baseball with runners in scoring position with batting average wise. They have the second best batting average in the league. They're putting up the second most runs per game. The only number that doesn't correlate is homers, Drew. And he had another line in there in pregame today that said there is no template for winning baseball games. Are the 2025 Brewers a prime example of that in your mind?
I think so. I mean, there's multiple ways to win a game. You can win it with pitching. You can win it with defense. You can win it with power. You can win it with situational hitting. The Brewers are doing it with all of those things right now. And yes, they're even doing it with power. They don't do it all day, every day, but when they need power, they seem to get it. There is no template. There's no one way to win a ball game.
And what about his line of really like how everything kind of coexists? I know it seems basic to say, oh, well, the pitching affects, the pitching, if it's bad, it doesn't matter how good the hitting is. But really, the Brewers have been kind of riding a momentum of playing really good defense and pitching really well throughout this year. And the offense was a little late to the party, but then it really showed up in these in the last month or so here. Do you think that the hitting really just has benefited from how dominant the Brewers' pitching and defense has been this year?
I think so. And we've talked about this earlier in the season, how it's all intertwined. When you're pitching, when your offense gives you a lead, especially a big one, you're able to go on the attack more. You have more of a room for error. When your offense is putting up runs and extending the lead, especially late, that changes how you use your bullpen. And strengthens you for the next day. When you're playing good defense, your pitchers aren't having to get extra outs and putting runners on base and making them be more fine. Like, it really is all interconnected.
Drew Wagner joining us from Forbes Sports. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. Drew, let's get into today's game a little bit. Old friend Colin Ray on the bump for Chicago going up against Jacob Misiorowski. Miz is coming off probably, objectively his worst start in the bigs last time around, in which he got rocked for 5 runs, only went an inning and a third. Are we looking at this one, this start specifically, for another adversity point for Jacob Misiorowski? Because you remember the last time against the Cubs, he also didn't do well and he gets banged up in that game. Is this a true bounce back test of a game for Jacob Misiorowski, with both of those outcomes of his worst start coming last time around and with the Cubs of what happened to him last time out?
Yeah, I mean, it's his first time facing a team that he's seen before. They handled him pretty well the last time out. He's pitching in what's going to be a pretty hostile environment. He's coming off a rough outing. This is definitely a checklist type thing for a young pitcher. It's a big step. He comes out today and shoves. That shows you something.
Yeah, and he was coming off of the IL or the IL last time when he was out and he had the performance against the Reds. Do you expect the leash to be a little bit longer on Misiorowski, or now that they're past the doubleheader and Ashby did a phenomenal job eating innings yesterday, do you think that they are monitoring those innings for Misiorowski even later down the road with a big series against the Cubs right now?
I think they're still monitoring it. They're not gonna push him and they're not gonna ease on him. They're gonna let the game dictate it. If he's working through the lineup fairly effectively, I think it'll be a pretty standard outing for him. If he's struggling, if he's getting deep into counts, if he's dealing with a lot of traffic, well, it'll be shorter. And they did bring up a fresh length option in Carlos Rodriguez today just to kind of back up, Misiorowski in case they need to go to the bullpen early. But they're going to be cautious. They're not going to let him run up those innings because they still have a long way to go. But they're not. I don't think they're going to. I don't think he's looking at an early hook unless he finds himself in deep trouble.
Drew, is there a website that you use to look up options for players, or is that something that the team is more gatekeeping right now? How many options, Tobias Myers is going up and down? I'm assuming we'll see him again this year.
You only burn one option a year.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and you can I get all that stuff at Roster Resource.
Okay.
Sport Track has that stuff pretty good.
Okay.
And I think Roster Resource is part of Fangraphs now, but yeah, you can go up and down. You have option years. It's not per time. So you have 3 option seasons after you're on the big league roster for the first time. So you can go back and forth. There are limits. So I think there's you can only go 4 or 5 times. I know they changed the rule a couple years back. Because remember, Brent Suter came up was it maybe 6, maybe 7 times?
Yeah. Didn't they do that for didn't they do that because of manipulating service time over the years or whatever it was, right?
I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
That was definitely part of it. But yeah, it doesn't each time that you're sent out does not count as an option. It's just one option per year.
Drew, one more question for you. I don't want you to look too far ahead because I'm not going to ask you to look past tomorrow, but Is tonight or tomorrow must win for Milwaukee? You got to win one of them.
I think so. I don't want to say must win, like it's not going to make or break you, but you want to go out of here. I think a 6-game, at worst, a 6-game lead is probably the best case scenario. If you get swept these next 2 games, okay, you're walking out here, you get a 5-game lead. That's still a pretty good cushion. But the Cubs have a pretty favorable schedule over the next couple of weeks. All their opponents are under 500. So, yeah, I think you definitely want to come out of here with a split in these next 2 days.
Drew, thank you so much. Drew Wagner joins us here on the Leadoff Show. We will do it again tomorrow, nice and early for you, 12:40. Have a good time at Wrigley, my friend.
Sounds good.
There he is, Drew Wagner, joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
How does the Crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Keys to the game today, we're all looking at the Miz again. I know everything's intertwined, like Drew Wagner says, but I'm not worried about the bats. For the first time in a long time with Milwaukee, right? When they lose 2 in a row and they look like they're playing not great baseball, I'm really not worried about the bats yet. 2 games doesn't get me worried. Mizorowski getting roughed up his last time around and not having success against the Cubs earlier, I think the spotlight is more on you. And I love what Drew said, too, of bringing up it's the first time he's facing a team twice. Like, now let's see what you got, Miz. This is a massive game for Jacob Mizorowski. It's going to be a ruckus environment, but he has come up in the big moment plenty of times this year already, whether it's he's got to go up against Paul Skeens, or he has a big game coming up against the Cardinals to start things off. Like, this is his moment, and he has done a great job in those moments this season. So Jacob Mizorowski today, I'd like to see 5 out of him. I really would. And I know they're looking at the innings limit, but this is a big series. And I do think that the Brewers are approaching must-win territory of either winning today or tomorrow. You'd like to win both of them, I understand. But just winning today seems the most important, and that's the mantra for the Milwaukee Brewers this season. That's going to do it for us here at The Fan. Make sure you guys are checking out all of your favorite local shows on the YouTube page, youtube.com/@TheFanMilwaukee. Make sure you put the @ symbol. We will be back tomorrow, 1:21 pitch. We'll have a leadoff show starting at noon. That'll follow, of course, our morning lineup, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Pack-A-Day Radio with Andy Herman. And then, of course, 9 a.m. to 11, the Mason Crosby Show, which will be filled in by myself and Steve Sparky Pfeiffer tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11. Live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, send them home.